council workshop. So what we're going to do this morning is talk about the budget, and you all will have a chance to ask comments or questions, give comments or ask questions. All right. The budget and millage rate are going to be looked at our 10 o'clock meeting and adopted. So let's go with Mr. Streetman. Would you please review the major aspects of the general fund budget as it compares, corresponds with the proposed millage rate?
Well, good morning, everybody. As the mayor said, this is the third of the three required public hearings we've had. The budget has been available now for inspection for not quite a month, about 3 weeks more. So it's been out there, people review it. And I'm going to go through a brief PowerPoint. Sharon, you can probably pull that up. And then we'll talk about some other aspects. And again, I know this has been well discussed, but we'll go through that as well. But anyway,
It's great on my screen.
there's the budget.
It's coming. Slowly loading.
I didn't mean to have it set up. We had to scroll everything, but
You ready?
yeah. Here you go to the next slide. So anyway, as by Georgia law, anytime that you propose a tax increase, you are required to have 3 public hearings. It is a 6.62% increase proposed, but I'll get that in a minute. You'll go through these with general fund, you'll just kind of go through all this up, yes. Anticipated revenues for general fund, $1,637,634. Here's a breakdown of how our revenues dispersed and diverse. About 68% of it, just make it all go through. I'm gonna fix that for next year. Too much around here with all this, making you wait for every slide, but anyway, not quite 1,120,000 property tax, franchise taxes, that's our Georgia Power, Windstream, et cetera. Permits, license fees, excise grants, fines, hotel, motel, short-term rentals. And then there's others, interest, real estate taxes. As all of that is added up, $1,637,634 is what we anticipate in receiving. The next slide, please. And then on the expenditure side, how this money will be spent. Anyway, 68, we'll go back, I'm sorry, 68% property tax. I'm giving you 2 minutes, but go back to what we got. 4% franchise fees, 10% license permit fees, grants about 11, and everything else is about 7%. That comes out to 100. All right, now, next slide. Thank you so much. Expenditures, as you see, it's a balanced proposed budget. 24% admin, 5% buildings and grounds, 36% police, 11 fire, 14 roads, and then 10 is everything else from miscellaneous. That's everything from the legislative, executive, mayor, council, elections, judicial, et cetera. Admin, $399, not quite 400. Building grounds, 84,000. Police, 589,000 and some change. Fire, 174,779. Of course, as you all may know, their request is 1.5 mills of, and then roads 233,625, and then code, everything else 155,744. The total is 1,637,634. So as you can see, the proposed revenues and expenditures match. Next slide, please. This here is what we're to consider by proposing to keep the millage rate the same at 9.609, which is what it is for this year. Because of the net increase in the digest, it would result in a 6.62% increase. What does that mean in terms of dollars? About $94,000. But as you can see, that money is earmarked to go towards public safety, with 68,000 proposed to the police department, right? An additional almost 15,000 towards the fire department. we're over 16,000 towards code enforcement housing, and that's primarily just, additional hours for, Mr. Coburn. Currently, he works about 30, he's budgeted for 32 hours, but we are finding that the workload, Jim's very good at time management, but it's really become a 40-hour-a-week job, and so a lot of that is just the trade hours per week, 52 weeks. So anyway, as you can see, pretty much every bit of that money and then some of that tax increase would be going towards public safety. And of course, public safety is something we find very important in the community. So, anyway, anyways, next slide. That is all for the, general fund. And then on the water side, it's been well discussed. That's something that we know that being our enterprise fund, that we should be making more money than we are. And I know that's gonna be some things we'll be talking about next year. But anyway, based on the anticipated revenue and expenditures, barring anything unforeseen, we should see a little bit of money again, about $5,000, but there's a breakdown there of how we would have the revenue and expenditures would be broken up. About $558,600 in revenue, and about $553,000 and some change in expenditure. Next slide, please. Even more so on the trash side, it's pretty much a break even for all intents and purposes. Even though with the SDS, we no longer pay the tipping fees, a lot of the expenses on the operation side is the waste management contracts. Every time the dumpster gets emptied, it's $500, and that, you can see how much the compact I'm talking about. So as you can see, but that's a necessary thing we have to have anyway. About 223,000 anticipated revenue, and pretty much the same. So it's pretty much a wash there. And next slide. Marketing budget again. They are meeting next month to talk about that. They plan to have a budget before the council, I think at the 18th January meeting. Not the organizational, but the second meeting. And then T-SPLOST, the same thing. When we were doing the budget, we did not know if the T-SPLOST was going to pass. Now we do know, so that's certainly going to be a plus for the city. Again, if anybody wants to know about T-SPLOST, that's the ability to defer those expenditures for roads that typically come out of the general fund. So that's been one of the reasons that we've been able to reduce the mills rate. So anyway, that's pretty much on that overview. And then I do want to go to that PowerPoint. You still have it open too. It's the one that looks like this. Okay. Yeah. And I'm going to do a brief overview of this, and I'll stop. And
It's not one of the, you can't see.
It's a PowerPoint.
Show me what it looks like again, Jason.
It's like this. Oh, everything. I asked some of everything left up the other day, but I guess not. While she's pulling that up, again, hopefully everybody's had a chance to look at the proposed rate. Like I said, we've had on the website. The 5-year tax levy, which is something that we actually had to put in the newspaper. Since 2020, the net digest has pretty much gone from 59 million to $116,519,000. And the millage rate is since then has dropped from 15.6 down to 9.6. So there's been, again, as the net digest has gone up, we've been able to drop the millage rate. Again, the millage rate this year, 9.609, proposed for next year is the same. And again, it's right at $94,000 increase.
Sorry, my computer's. It's been-
The other thing that is important to know, there's a form called, the state requires us to use a PT32 form. Again, that's been well publicized. It is the spreadsheet that you utilize that when you plug in the numbers, it tells you what the proposed tax increase would be, and it also tells you what the rollback rate would be. So This year, the rollback rate would be 9.012 again. By keeping it at proposed 9.609, it would be a 6.62% tax increase. And then, as was talked about in the work session, I think we talked about it in detail in the first public hearing. It is a balanced budget, even in spite of the things that have been historically considered over the years, to remain competitive with our personnel. We've got great staff. It includes 5% COLAs for employees, anticipated increases in workers' comp, as well as our insurance. That's something that anybody in their personal life, you probably have seen your insurance go up. It's no different with cities and counties, local governments. And then, we did add some extra money on the legislative and executive side, since we know that we've got incoming council members and incoming mayor-elect. There's some training that I have to go to, so we budgeted for that. We always try to budget for an election every year. We have not received the bill yet from the county for that, but, yeah, we do anticipate that. And then, the biggest increases in the budget are the police, the fire, the public, and then the building inspections, code enforcement, life safety, public safety. So,
Sorry, Jason, my
That's
Zoom's
fine.
not responding.
that's fine. Well, again, I mean, it's been well publicized. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'll stop. But, and there's been opportunities in previous meetings for people to ask.
Councilman, do you have any comments or questions for Jason?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right, well, we'll allow our meeting participants to ask questions or make comments, and as per our charter, when you are recognized, please state your name and address. Any comments from, yes, sir. Mr. Mason.
Steve Mason, 38 Pleasant Mountain Drive. My comments are just that. I'm sorry I didn't do this a month ago when this started, but at any rate, I looked at the budget and let me just say I did budgets for 25 years, so, but all I did was look at the numbers. Now, I looked at this budget compared to that budget, and I also looked at this budget, that plus a projection of what the expenses will be for the year, and I added 20%, which is probably conservative. Total revenues of 6.7%, actual probably between 10 and 15%. And property taxes, as you said, 9.6. General administrative salaries of 12%. Now that's budget compared to budget. That's not budget compared to projection. FICA is up 12% too, though. Communications up 29%. Total general administration 3.9%. But actually, it's going to be up 10 to 15% based on projection, what your actual expenses are. Your revenue, I know, I looked at the revenue, and the revenue is basically it's what it is for the year, other than maybe a few traffic tickets or small items. But so it's basically what it is for the year. Building and grounds, an anomaly. Electricity, building and grounds is up 38%. Something to look at.
Yeah.
Police salaries up 11.5%. Health insurance up, retirement, workman's comp. Gasoline, looked like it was up about 30%.
It's still over $30 a gallon, yeah,
So, but that's a guess. So, you know, when you budget something like that. Fires up 21%, roads are up 3%, that's interesting. Special events, you have $11,000 that we didn't spend this year, but maybe you want to do more for special events next year. Housing, I presume that's our building inspector.
It is.
26% up. Budget Actual, I'm guessing it'll be at least 24. Water and waste salaries up 20%. And that's a projection. This is interesting, other purchase services up 58% for general supplies. You've already exceeded your budget this year and it's not significant. Maybe we need to look at those and flip the numbers. Refuge revenue is up probably 20%, and salaries as well. One of the things I wanted to point out, the water fund, the revenue is probably $200,000 less than the expenses. So in the interest of transparency, shouldn't we have a line item in the operating budget, say subsidy for water fund? Because that's the expenses have got to be coming in out of the general account. Am I wrong?
No, they're separated.
Okay.
There's no supplemental, anything. They're all standalone funds.
Yeah, and the other thing is the plug-in T-Splots, what's that gonna do for you? And if you plug in T-Splots, what's that gonna do to the millage rate? We do have a few people here in Sky Valley who are living on fixed income. I live on fixed income, but unfortunately, it's not Social Security, so I'm all right. But there are people that do struggle. Thank you.
You want to answer some of those questions? His last question about the T-Splosh.
As I mentioned, Mr. Mason, the T-Splosh budget, we plan to have that proposal brought before the council in January. We did not know at the time that we were posting, advertising the budgets, that was obviously, it was extended at the November 4th election. So that's a good thing for the city. Those funds are also separated by law. We have to keep those funds, we cannot intermingle those funds.
No, but are there some operating expenses that you can assign to T-Splosh?
No, it's only, you cannot pay salaries, operating costs out of T-Splosh. It's purely for road improvements, equipment, sidewalks, resurfacing, et cetera, et cetera.
That's why your road department is only 3%. That's just probably just.
Yeah, you're able to defer a lot of those expenditures. You know, we have a line item for road maintenance, et cetera. If you say that's zero, the reason it's zero, we're able to defer that. It's T-Splosh. It's you still have to fund your salaries, your benefits, things of that nature, out of the general fund.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Any other comments or concerns? Anybody online? Sharon, do we have any questions or comments online from people online?
Does anybody have a question on Zoom? It's not.
Okay. Well, thank you all for participating this morning. Since we have no more persons wishing to comment, we're going to close this particular meeting, but we will be in attendance for our 10 o'clock council meeting. Thank you.
Is this, we don't need to.
We don't need to